one of the expert panel will be casting their eye over a key piece of analysis. And this week, ahead of kickoff, we've got our very own Jason Cundy. Jace, who are you looking at this week?
It's Timo Werner. Of course it is. We're all expecting big things. He's come with a big reputation. He's got a goal in pre-season. He scored for his international side as well. If you supply bullets, and I think with the sort of team that's going to give him plenty of opportunities, then the chances are he's going to score plenty of goals. It's all about his movement as well. He looks to stretch defences and get in behind, but not down the middle. He looks to get into the space where the fullbacks often get forward, or the wing backs, depending on the system you're playing against. So really looking forward to his movement. Of course, the players that are linking up behind him: Pulisic, Mount, Barkley, Havertz, and of course Ziyech as well.
Mate, it's going to be exciting as well. And we've also got a couple of exclusive Chelsea TV features and interviews, live warm-ups, and the brand new Play Predictor game, which you can get involved with and win some huge prizes. We'll give you a little bit more on that later on. Also, we have the return of Hot Topics. If you haven't done this before, you haven't tried this before, make sure you get involved. There's plenty to do. And if you open the brand new Fifth Stand app, like I've got here, you can get involved with the Play Predictor game, which I've already had a go at. So you can see, actually, I don't want you to see in my thing. You can see how you can get involved there. Have a little go at this, right? It's really, really cool. Open up the Match Centre. It's dead easy. It's right on the front, and it's definitely worth getting involved. You also find the updated Match Centre and the chat section for you to comment responsibly, of course, on anything to do with your club. Every match we'll pick out some key topics, 3 or 4 probably, from our own panel to discuss, and we're going to read out some of the best ones that you've got involved with as well. I think, Zach, you're across that this evening. So I'll tell you what, let's start with one that I know you've seen a lot of chat about. We've all been talking about it non-stop. No surprise. Summer transfer business.
Indeed.
So the big ones: Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner, Ben Chilwell, Thiago Silva, and Kai Havertz. And of course, the window is still open. So, Zach, let's get straight into it, mate. Summer transfer business.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about, put it that way. A lot of hype as well about a certain Kai Havertz. Maybe it's because he's more recent. But Freddie has said something around the lines of, we are behind you, Kai. The future is bright at the Bridge. A lot of guys are looking super excited towards him. Even another one here, CFC lads. Havertz is going to score. He's got to do what he does best. I'm in the chat at the moment. A lot of people loving Kai Havertz. But you're right. There was a lot of people join the club. I think we even forgot to mention Malang Sarr as well as another player. But for me personally, Kai Havertz is someone who I'm very excited in seeing. I can't say I watched much of him beforehand, but I've watched the YouTube clips, and he looks pretty good. He looks fantastic. I think it's kind of weird that we've maybe because it happened so early on that we just no one's really talking about Timo Werner or Ziyech really.
Well, I'm going to save that for Jason a while because obviously he's going to go through Timo Werner in elite detail, but. Claire, I think there's something to be said because Zach's hit the nail on the head there. You know, we did business very, very early with Hakim Ziyech and Timo Werner. You know, they've been training with the club since July the 1st. It's kind of gone under the radar that they're part of this new batch because it feels like they've been here for ages already.
Yeah, exactly. It's premeditated. I think obviously we had the transfer ban. So this is always, there's high expectation on this window. For me, I'm actually most excited about Thiago Silva. And that's because defence is the best form of attack. Yes, it's so exciting, the attacking prowess we have. But we need that core. We were leaking goals last season. And I'm just excited to see a bit of experience, a bit of calm, a bit of leadership. How much he will play, I'm not too sure, and how he will fit in. I think he's a bargain. Obviously, I'm sure his wages are pretty high for him to be lured away from PSG. But yeah, for me, he's a really exciting signing for us. There's so many, I've almost lost track of it, as you said. There's been so many prior to this. So I think it's premeditated. There's a lot of thought gone into it. And I think a lot of them fit into the style of play.
That's the excitement as well, isn't it? Because obviously we've seen, the players getting their press shots done for the new kit this week. And you see Ben Chilwell and Hakim Ziyech sort of jumping in on each other, photobombing each other. And that chemistry that already is going to be there because, the players have, although it's been a very disrupted and I mean, partially non-existent pre-season for a lot of teams, it feels like the players have had a chance to get to know each other. And you're right there, Clay. You had someone like Thiago Silva who's been in some of the biggest dressing rooms in the world and has played in some of the biggest teams in the world. That influence is going to have such an impact on the rest of the squad, isn't it?
Yeah, and you need that sometimes. And the amount of times we discussed it last season, didn't we? especially with a bit of criticism around the keeper. Hopefully there'll be a new keeper coming in. I know there's rumours. I won't touch on that. We'll deal with the ones who are already in at the moment. But I think you do need that. You need sometimes, especially with the exciting players we have, we play a higher pressing game. You need someone who's actually going to be able to, direct and be a lot more vocal, and someone who the players are actually going to respect as well. We've been missing that for a long time, and I think, I'm excited to see how he's going to fit in.
Claire, quickly, I'll come on to you in a second, Zach, so I'm going to give you a run up at this. But in terms of Timo Werner, we've like we said, we've known a little while now that he's going to be joining the club. He's such an exciting prospect, and he's one of those very rare things in football that he just looks like someone that finds goal scoring easy. Now, I know that doesn't exist in football, but he makes it look it. I mean, seeing the clips of him training this week, he looks sharp. It's
the nonchalant nature of his movement. It's quite deceptive. Like when you're playing against that as well, even though a player's got that much quality, he likes to run into the flanks. He's quite direct. He gets a lot of shots off. He knows what he wants. Everyone was after him. I think he's a fantastic signing. But when someone is so cool and calm, I'm going to only speak for myself, but there's a few players I've played against, for England, and that they just wander around. They draw you out into the spaces, and because you switch off, because they don't look like they're working hard. They don't look like they're doing too much. Then all of a sudden, that split second, and they've gone. So I think that for me is going to be the difference for us there.
Zach, I tell you what, I'll give you a little bit longer because you can have a little watch of this with us, because Jason has done an in-depth tactical pre-match analysis. Look at our new number 11. Check this out.
So let's have a look at the movement of Timo Werner. There is, just bottom left of the screen, number 11. Just watch his movement and where he ends up. As soon as Ziyech gets hold of the ball, he's anticipating, he's on the move. It's a lovely ball from Ziyech in towards Callum, misguided header, slightly fortuitous, but he's in there beyond the centre half, always anticipating, always looking to get in behind the defence. Another example, on the edge of the box there, he's anticipating, not on his heels, in front of the defender, not great marking from Brighton. I love this one, he's gone, he's in the centre of the screen, he's now in behind, and I love the way he stretches in behind the full-back areas. That's something that you're going to see over the next couple of clips as well, moving Chelsea higher up the pitch. Again, lovely ball from Ziyech, but look where he is now. You can't see him in the shot, but he's in behind where the space is, stretching defences, bringing Chelsea further up the pitch. This is my favourite one. That's Timo Werner there on the edge of the box, digging in for his team. Now look where he ends up. Just watch where he goes. He's now anticipating. Ziyech gets the ball. He's gone. He's in behind defences. Reminds me a lot of Diego Costa and Cesc Fabregas. Hopefully we're going to see a little bit more of that link-up play between the pair of them.
So, as you saw, Jason diving into the tactical analysis of Timo Werner there. Zach, he's already off the mark for Chelsea, Timo Werner. Obviously, the friendly against Brighton at today's venue as well. What was it, a fortnight ago now? But the first thing that I saw and got me very excited as a Chelsea fan was the link-up play, the ball from Ziyech, the knockdown from Hudson-Odoi, the finish from Werner. Hopefully, that's going to be the first of many.
Oh, I mean, whether Hudson meant it, I'm sure he'd say he will, is another question. But indeed, yeah, Ziyech is unfortunately injured in this game, but he looks like another real talent, especially with his left foot. Wizard, as his magic, as they say. But no, Werner is really interesting. He was kind of the hottest thing on the market last season for RB Leipzig, and we kind of came under everyone's noses and snatched him. I'm really excited to see him this year, and also gives more competition for our other strikers as well. And on top of that, can also play with two up front, can play on the wing. He's versatile, and so if, unlike last season, we did suffer unfortunately a few injuries. If that happens, he can play on the wing as well. So it's a really good fix, and I think even for the money that we spent was fantastic.
I tweeted about this, and I know we've all felt the same. Jason, I want to come to you about our latest arrival, because when Chelsea signed Kai Havertz, it was a conversation that people have been talking about and whispering and murmuring. It felt like it was one of those that started to get sort of drawn out, but we knew it was close. It feels very much like, I'm saying this already, feels very much like the Eden Hazard deal a couple of years ago when we signed him from Lille, in the fact that all the big clubs around the world were sniffing around him. All of the big clubs were interested. And yet he's here. He's at Stamford Bridge. He's playing under Frank Lampard. And what have you made of him so far? And how excited are you, again, as a person that's seen all the creative players come through the door here and there at Chelsea? You've seen some of the best players ever in the last sort of decade. So how excited are you about Kai Havertz?
Incredibly excited. I did get the sense from speaking to some journalists that were across Europe that this was our chance to sign in this window. Had we left another window, the likes of Real Madrid, possibly Barca, maybe even Man City, would have been lurking around, but they weren't in the market. So it was one chance to get this deal over the line this season, and we had to get it done. A little bit like what's going on with Jadon Sancho and Man United, yet for some reason they haven't done that deal or certainly got over the line yet or even near it. So I think that was very, very important. When a player like this comes up for a chance to buy, you don't often get a chance to buy a player that of this quality and with potential. They come around very, very few. So you're right to mention Eden Hazard. Had we not won the Champions League, I believe he would have ended up at Manchester City. So the fact that we won it, we're back in that Champions League that season, changed the whole deal. We're back in the Champions League, and it gives us that muscle to sign these players. I know Werner signed before. We were guaranteed Champions League football, but I can only imagine how much harder it would have been if we didn't have that to offer these players that are coming. So incredibly excited. Yes, he's the sort of player that gets you off your seat. There's a number of those. I know we're talking about players we signed, but we've still got to see the best of Pulisic. Mason Mount is still going to have so much more to improve and to realise that potential. So it's not just the players we've already signed. Callum Hudson-Odoi as well, Tammy. The future's looking incredibly bright. So let's hope we can harness that up top. Defensively, Claire's already alluded to it, that was where our big problems were last season. And if you look at the back five that start, all of them had a part to play in that last season. So there's room for improvement.
I'll tell you what, we'll get on to this evening, but first, let's have a little look at Kai Havertz's first interview with Chelsea TV.
Kai, first of all, a huge, warm welcome to you. Welcome to the club. What does it mean to you to be sat here now as a Chelsea player?
Yeah, thank you very much, first of all. I'm very happy and proud to be here. It's for me a dream come true to play in a big club like Chelsea, and can't wait to meet all the players and the trainers, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
What excites you most about the prospect of playing at Chelsea?
Yeah, for me, Chelsea is always a big club, and I remember all the big players who played here. Now Chelsea have very big players, and I'm very excited to play here. And just for me, it's a very big step, and I try my best in the coming few weeks, months, and years, and just try my best and to help the team.
One of those big players that you mentioned, Frank Lampard, who's now your manager here at the club. How important was he in your decision to come here?
Yeah, of course, he had a big impact on my decision because I loved him as a player and watched him very often, and I think I can learn from him as a manager as well, and I think he's a very humble person, a very great guy, and can't wait to play with him and learn from him.
What did you like about Frank as a player?
I like very much. He was very offensive like me, and he loves to score goals, and I love to score goals as well. So I think he will help me a lot in my position, and also maybe on the things that I can improve. And can't wait to work with him.
How exciting a time is it to come here, and I guess what do you make of the project that Frank Lampard is building here at the club?
Yeah, I think it's very excited because Chelsea have very young players, and I know some of the players like Timo and Tony. I played with them in the national team, and they're good friends of mine. So I think this is very good for me, and also that they have very young players, English players, and I think that's very nice and a big project, and hopefully we can have many success.
Certainly an exciting challenge for everybody involved, especially yourself, of course. What do you want to achieve during your time here at the club?
As much as possible. I try to do my best, and of course it's a very big step for me. It's a new country, a new culture, and it's difficult maybe in the first 2 or 3 weeks, but then I think yeah, I just want to play football and have fun with the boys, and of course I want to have big success. I think we want to win titles here, and Chelsea is always a big club and they want to win titles, and yeah, I try to do my best that we can achieve these things.
I think I can speak for every Chelsea fan when I say that everyone is excited to see you in action. With that in mind, what would you say to Chelsea supporters watching this right now?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, and I read very much messages from them, and they write me very often on my social media account. So I saw it, and can't wait to play in front of the fans. And yeah, I try to do my best to make them proud, and I try to do my best that we have many success.
We wish you the best luck.
Thank you very much.
Jason will be alongside Ben Andrews in the commentary box this evening. Ben has joined us from the Amex Stadium. Ben, how are you, mate? Are you well?
I'm good. We're ready to go again. And it's hot again, just like it was in Munich. It's very weird.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ben, let's get straight to it. I want to ask you a question. Is Kai Havertz starting tonight?
Yes, he is, Joe. He is. He's starting, we think, in the 10, but I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see how they start training out there. But he does start. Pulisic isn't involved at all. Aspie's on the bench. Kepa is in goal. Werner's up front, so two new German boys are starting. I reckon Ruben one wing, Mason the other, Havertz in the 10 with N'Golo and Jorginho behind them. Alonso, Zuma, Christensen, James and Kepa.
It's an interesting one, but like we've said, Ben, beforehand, you know, it's I suppose that the fact there's been not a huge run up to the season, can you read much into the starting lineup today, or is it very much, you know, that over the next sort of 14 days, 20 days, and the next sort of 3 or 4 games, it could be a completely different 11 by the time we get to the start of October?
I don't think you can read much into it other than who's been around, who's fit and who's ready to go. You know, Thiago Silva's going to be playing every week at some point. Ben Chilwell's going to be playing every week at some point. And realistically, so's a goalkeeper. So that's 3 out the back 5 straight away. Christian Pulisic's going to come in, and he's nearly ready because Frank said him and Aspie had been joining in, but perhaps just not quite quickly enough to be involved in this game. But no, I think for most teams, don't you? I mean, not just Chelsea. It's going to be probably a bit of an odd start and a lot of changing from a lot of teams.
Well, you've led us on nicely, actually, Ben, to our hot topic number 2 for this evening, which is the team selection. As you said, Timo Werner, obviously starting up front. That's a big thing that we saw Jason's pre-match. Kai Havertz is the one that we're all getting very excited about. Zach, I'm guessing that the majority of the comments on the fifth stand-up this evening have been around Timo Werner and Kai Havertz.
Yeah, very much so. A lot of talk about those two. People very excited for their debuts and think a very, very special bond could be created here. There is questions over Pulisic, but again, I think it is just due to not being quite fit enough. And there are some surprises over Kepa. Some people saying that they're kind of glad to see him get given another chance, and if he performs today, then he can start off well. But a lot of people are very, very excited for the Germans and for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. A lot of people giving him a lot of love too.
Claire, and that's a great point that Zach's made. And we were just talking about this off air as well. The fact that, you know, you mentioned Ruben there, it's a good opportunity for him. But the other players that Timo Werner and Kai Havertz have kind of dislodged into the starting 11 tonight, it's an opportunity for them to, I suppose, decide how they're going to react. It must be quite difficult to come into a really close-knit, you know, dressing room like we saw at the end of last season. These new players are coming in. It improves the squad, and that's brilliant for us. But also, it's an opportunity for players to take that on board and kind of improve themselves, I suppuse.
Yeah, you know what? Football's ruthless, isn't it? You know, you're only as good as your last game. I know how cliche that is, but I think it's true. I think that competition does make you, you know, up your game. But I think these players depends on. There's a balance, isn't there? You're actually going to get an opportunity to improve yourself, and I think it's about making sure you're ready for the likes of Tammy to come on and change the game. You know, the bench is as equally as important as the starting 11. I know that. You know, Emma Hayes used to say that to us. I'm sure Frank Lampard says that to his players. If you're a sub, you need to be ready. You need to know what you're doing because, you know, if you impress, you have a chance to start the next game.
Jace, Ben's mentioned there about, you know, potentially if it's a 4-2-3-1, Ruben playing one side, Mace playing the other. Maybe we'll sort of see an interchange in there and players that are perhaps are being asked to do a different role this evening. But again, like Claire's pointed out there, it's an opportunity to be given you a chance and to make sure you take it, even if it's not perhaps a position you're either most comfortable or most familiar with.
You want to start the first game of the season. Simple as that. You're looking to see as the team builds up towards the start. You're wondering if there's going to be any injuries that might present an opportunity for one or two others. But once you get that starting shirt, it's now up to others to try and take it off. We know, we've already alluded to the signings. You're not going to bring in Chilwell. You're not going to bring in Thiago Silva and Ziyech as well, without them being a huge part of what this football club is going to be over the next 12 and 24, how many months. But it's some players that have come in. Now, Ruben, we're all waiting for Ruben after that dreadful injury over, it feels like that 15, 16 months ago. And we saw him come back against Villa. Match fitness, his sharpness wasn't quite there. He's had so much more time now to build up that fitness, to get himself sharp and to stake a claim, because we're all still waiting for that Ruben Loftus-Cheek that we all believe is going to be in there, which is a powerhouse in Villa Park, creating chances, defensively doing his job as well. So I'm excited for him as much as anyone today.
Well, the team is here. We are not too far away from kicking off our Premier League season. Two of the new arrivals are here and ready to start on their Chelsea debuts this evening. We will continue building up to Chelsea Brighton and be back with you in around half an hour time.
How's it going to work, guys?